Alright, today I wanted to talk about scan tools, and so I'm going to try to make this video where it applies to the novice who's never ever touched a scan tool on up to probably somebody that's got some intermediate use of a scan tool. If you're a professional mechanic or something, this video is probably not going to be all that helpful. It's just going to be rehashing what you already know. So those of you who are totally unfamiliar with scan tools, you probably have some beliefs kind of similar to what I had before I started learning about them way back when they first started hitting the scene. You know, I had the false belief that they were kind of this magical tool that you plugged in and it told you everything that was wrong with the car, everything that was potentially wrong with the car, and, you know, just magic crystal ball into the future as far as, oh yeah, you're going to need to do this, that, and the other thing to this vehicle. Unfortunately, that's so far from the truth, it's comical. So your entry-level, i.e. inexpensive scan tools probably have the ability to tell you if you have a check engine light on your dashboard or whatever your car's equivalent of that is. I know some have an actual message board that'll say, you know, service engine or whatever. But the basic ones can basically tell you if you have the check engine light on, it can tell you what code has triggered that check engine light. And that's it. So it's not going to tell you necessarily what needs to be fixed, because that code could be triggered by a lot of different things, some of which could be as simple as, you know, tightening a ground somewhere. So as far as usefulness and utility, those type of tools are basically, I would say, almost useless unless you really know how to take that code and translate it into how to fix the problem. But most, if not all of those cheap ones, that's the limit of what they check. It's just a check engine light. They're not going to check the other systems. And so if it's a brake problem, if it's a airbag problem, if it's a transmission problem perhaps, I mean, there's a lot of systems that report, especially the newer the vehicle, the more computerized stuff is. And so if your scan tool is only looking at one type of problem, it's really not all that helpful in a modern vehicle. Probably a slight step up from that are the ones that will actually show you live data as well. And if you're a really good mechanic, and probably trained mechanic, not a YouTube mechanic, then the live data probably makes more sense to you, and you can figure out what's going on based on the live data. For example, you might be able to look at how much fuel, how much air, spark timing, what it thinks the throttle body's at, what it thinks the, you know, gas pedal is pushed at, things like that, and figure out, oh, there's a problem when you press the gas pedal halfway, it only thinks you're pressing it 25% of the way, whatever, and use that. Again, I don't think those have a lot of use for most of us. Recently, as in 2021, I discovered the bidirectional scan tools. And those are the ones that not only read the systems, and in many cases read all of the systems, not just the check engine light, but if there's any other kind of codes being set in your brake system or anything else. But they're bidirectional, as in they can communicate with the car and change things. So what I mean by that is some of them you can set the throttle body position, for example, so that if your gas pedal is pressed halfway, it opens the throttle body halfway. Maybe before it was only opening at 30%. Maybe it was opening at 80%. Read the description on the one that you're trying to buy, because not all of the bidirectional ones are the same either. So some of them can do like ABS bleed procedures. Some of them, like for example, the X tool that I reviewed earlier, it's got a lot of manual controls as well as the automated stuff, and they're always updating their software. So pretty much at least once a week there's some sort of update to it, and it's a free download. But so like it has the automated anti-lock brake bleeding, and it also has what I would call manual. So you could turn on the ABS pump, or you can open up an individual bleeder valve on the ABS if you know like the air is in the left front, for example. So it's got a lot more utility being bi-directional, and then it also has the ability to program certain things and talk to the system and change settings. For example, if your gas gauge is slightly off, it has the ability to bump it up or down to fix that or whatever. So really, the base ones, if you're just needing to know a check engine code and you have somebody that can translate it for you, tell you what the fix is or what the possible fixes might be, maybe you can get away with that. But really, for me, anything less than a bi-directional tool is not super helpful to me. I'd rather buy one bi-directional tool one time and have it do everything. Or, if cost is a factor and you're just doing it for Crown Vics and similar cars, Forscan is a free download. I think it's like a $50 lifetime subscription if you want the full capabilities of it. You can certainly get a free trial if you're just needing it temporarily. And I think it's less than $20 for the little adapter to plug into your laptop. So you need something to run Forscan on. Most people have a laptop or a tablet that it'll run on, so you've already got that investment. If not, get you a cheap used Windows XP laptop or something and just run Forscan on it, and that's the economical way. All of the code readers will clear the check engine light. Now that doesn't mean that anything's fixed, and if it's an ongoing problem, then the check engine light will just pop back up. Prime example of this is if your catalytic converters are starting to go bad, so maybe they're working at 94.5% efficiency, that check engine light may pop up that your catalyst is below efficiency. Well, you can clear that code and you might be able to drive 100 miles or more and it not pop back up, and then one day it'll pop back up. So you can keep clearing that code until your catalytic converters get to where they're never operating above whatever the threshold is, which is probably 95%. Once your catalytic converters are working below whatever the threshold is for your vehicle all the time, then that code will just stay on. So even if you clear it, it'll just pop right back up the first time you start the car. But if you have a problem, let's say, let's use the catalytic converters as an example. Let's say that code pops up, it's staying on, you change out your catalytic converters. That code may or may not clear itself depending on the vehicle, or you may have to drive for a long time before it clears. So in that case, you get the scan tool, you clear the code never comes back and you're done. Like I said, for me, I need something fancier than the regular scan tool. And then I carry with me the Conway that I reviewed, mainly because it has both the battery and the scan tool function. So, if I'm having to repair something, I'm going to use the bi-directional tools, like the X tool. But if I'm just out and about and something happens, I can plug that Conway in and at least figure out what's going on. Or if I have a battery, I can hook that up and see, if it's a dead cell, if it's bad alternator, if it's, you know, just somehow got discharged, but, you know, maybe a light got left on or something like that. But anyway, I hope the video was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.